Welcome everyone. Today we have a special weapon tier list and also weapon guide for Zenless Zone Zero. Now looking behind me, I have prepared a lot of notes and also tier lists and also ranking about the weapons. So in this video, we'll go through all the S rank weapons and also all the A rank weapons categorized by the roles of attackers, defenders, supporters, and also anomaly dealers. I'll also teach you guys how to check where you can obtain those weapons. Some of those weapons are free to play. Other weapons can be only obtained through the banners and also through gacha. Some of those weapons can be exchanged and also purchased in the shop, and I'll teach you guys about this as well. So this way, you guys can understand what are the best S rank weapons and what are the best N rank weapons and what weapon stats you should be going for different roles of characters. Now, in order to provide you guys with the best summary, I have collected a number of information for those weapons and also went through a lot of different weapon tier lists. Now, because I have prepared a long tier list of weapons, what I recommend is, as you go through this guide with me guys, those weapons are going from ascending order. The best weapons are usually on top. There's some special cases where the weapon has certain elemental damage, and this is only for the type of characters that uses those elemental damage. So if you're not running an electric attacker for this example, then you shouldn't be considering using this weapon unless you deal electric damage. So let's come over to the S rank weapons. Currently, I believe there is 7 S rank weapons in the game. And what I do is, I'll quickly show you guys how to do this. So if you guys didn't know, if you come over to the gadget store, and if you come over to the Galaxy gadget store, go to database, and then you can search for weapons directly. And you can see right now there are 7 S rank weapons, and this is categorized by the attackers, stunners, and also different type of weapons. So right away we can see the top tier weapons will be the limited banner weapon for Ellen and also for Junyuan, and those are the respective weapons. So knowing this is good enough. Usually I don't recommend going for those weapons because it can be a big bait, and this will take you a lot of currencies and also take away your summons for your characters. Now as we keep going, let's have a look at some of the standard banner weapons that some of you may be getting. And we'll be categorizing those weapons by their attacking roles and also different roles. So for the attacking weapons, Brimstone is one of the best weapons with increased attack percent by 30% at the maximum level. This will also provide the attacker or the character that's dealing the damage to the enemy multiple stacks of increasing attack damage. This is quite straightforward, and this is great for any character that will be using this weapon. The second weapon of choice for the attacking characters is going to be a physical weapon. Now, even though this weapon has increasing damage attacking enemies from behind and also increased critical rate, because its physical damage effect is lost onto other characters, it is not recommended to try this weapon unless you have a physical attacker. But if you don't have any other 5-star weapons, it is ideal guys, you can still use this weapon on any of your attacking unit. Just ignore the physical part, this is still a tier 1 or tier 2 weapon that is very powerful. Now in terms of the S rank stunning weapons, we do have the Restraint as one of the best tier 1 weapons. This weapon has percentage impact increase, and this weapon will increase damage and also deaths from basic attacks. In comparison, the Hellfire will provide us with some good energy, and this can be very good in triggering the special effect. Now the downside for this weapon is that you'll be triggering the special effect on the stunner to get its benefit, and sometimes you might not want to use the special effect on the stunning unit rather on the attacking unit to deal more damage. Now to finish off with S rank weapons, there are currently only one type of S rank weapon for the Anomaly, for the supporting weapon, and also there's no defense weapon that is going to be S rank weapon. So what that means is, if you have any of those tier 1 weapons, well, that's the only S rank weapon you have for this target unit type. So that means if you're getting those weapons, they're pretty decent. Now one big highlight is a supporting tier 1 weapon, and this is the Weapon Cradle. This allows you to increase your energy regeneration for the supporting character while increasing your team's damage. So this can be considered sometimes a tier 0.5 weapon, and this is by far one of the strongest standard banner S rank weapons in the game. Now I know it can be a little harder to going through the S rank weapons, and not all of us have any of that, right? I don't have any of those. So it's more important for us to consider what are the best A rank weapons. What I'm doing here is, you'll see the categories of weapons, and usually the Battle Pass weapons are the strongest weapons of the category. And if you look at the substats of the Battle Pass weapon at the maximum level, you can see those weapons actually give you an indication of what is the best that you have for those role of characters. For example, for the attacking weapons, the Battle Pass weapon over here will provide critical rate, while most of the other weapons will have attack percentage and also energy regen, which is not going to be ideal for the attacking units of the party. Now, it is not always the case that the Battle Pass weapon is the strongest. As we come over to the defensive weapons, you can see there is a best in slot offensive defensive weapon that has defensive stats that massively increase your damage by dealing 960% of the wearer's defense onto enemies. And this can be potentially stronger than the Battle Pass defensive weapon, which we'll talk about once we come to this section. So coming over to the top A rank attacking weapons, the Battle Pass weapon is definitely going to be strong with a cannon rotor. Now, I will be making a focus guide on which of the Battle Pass weapons you want to be picking if you guys are purchasing the Battle Pass. At the moment, we'll rank this weapon definitely on top of the tier list, with critical rate and also increased attack, and as you deal more damage with landing critical hits, it's gonna be amazing. Now, some of the elemental attacking weapons will be prioritized on the elemental team, as we mentioned earlier. For electric attacking characters, Drill Rig is not bad to increase your attack and also damage dealt from basic attack. If you're looking for physical attack dealers, it is better to go with a Housekeeper that increases the character's physical damage. In comparison, if you're going with Starlight Engine, this requires you to deal damage from afar, and this will only buff the target once you deal damage from afar. So this weapon can be good for Billy, but I don't think this weapon will be very good for Nickel Meta. In terms of Nickel Meta, I still think the Housekeeper will be a better physical weapon. Now for the attackers that's not electric or physical, I'll recommend going with a universal weapon with a Starlight Engine. And this is a universal attacking weapon that will provide you with a flat increase of attack percentage, with the sap stats and also with a special effect. I'm actually currently running onto that weapon onto my Ellen. So finally, the weaker version of the universal weapon is the increase of damage for your ultimate. And the straight superstar is one of those weapons that will massively increase your ultimate's damage. But in return, it doesn't have any special effects if you're not using your ultimate. And this is why I'm putting the lower flexibility situational weapons at the bottom of the tier list for the attacking weapons. Now coming over to the Anomaly A rank weapons. Currently, there is only one S-rank character that is Anomaly, and that is Grace, so we keep that in mind. The Battle Pass weapon is very powerful with the substats of Anomaly Proficiency, and this will greatly increase the status effect damage we deal with Anomaly characters. So in most of the cases guys, the Battle Pass weapon is going to be the top of the tier list for the A-rank weapon. They are just slightly weaker than the S-rank weapon, because they have lower base attack. Now my second Anomaly weapon of choice will be coming from the weapon Gemini. This weapon has multiple ways of stacking Anomaly Proficiency up to 4 times. At maximum level it's 42 per stack, up 4 times is about 168 stacking attack Anomaly Proficiency. In comparison, we can also go with the Reinforced Garment. This weapon will give you a flat increase of the secondary stat for Anomaly Proficiency. This weapon will also increase the wearer's attack percentage. But at lower ranking, I believe this weapon is only 25 Anomaly Proficiency. I think I had one of those weapons in my character, so let me show you guys over here. So I do want to have a quick reminder for you guys in terms of the weapons. What we're looking at the maximum ascension level of the weapon stats. So before that, notice my weapon only have about 10 or 13% attack. So this means those weapons are ascended at maximum level for those stats. So in comparison, I'll prefer to have ways of stacking Anomaly Proficiency over having the flat secondary bonus. While the attack buff is okay, but it's not as major. Now the situational RNG weapon for the Anomaly attacker is going to be this weapon with a roll and ride. It is too random for me. After casting your special attack, you will gain one of the 3 buffs, and this will increase your attack, Anomaly Proficiency, or Anomaly build-up rate. And this is randomized for 5 seconds as you cast your special attack. In comparison, the other 2 weapons are more stable, and I'm recommending going with one of those if you have multiple copies. Now coming over to the A rank stunning weapon. The Battle Pass weapon again is going to be the strongest weapon for the A rank weapons. We can also see what stats we want for those stunning weapons, which is impact percentage, and this means we will be trying to get additional deaths and also impact percentage onto those weapons. One of the best stunning weapons will be for the electric stunners, and this will likely gonna be MB, and this allows us to have increased electric damage and while having higher energy regeneration. Together with impact percentage, this is one of the best electric A rank weapon. Now if we're not going with any elemental characters, we can also go with the Steam Oven. This weapon does have energy percentage regen, which might not be the best case, but this weapon having high energy percentage regen can increase the character's impact percentage, and this is stacking. Finally, my lowest A rank weapon for the stunning unit is gonna be the Precious Fossil Claw. Those names really gets me. Now this weapon is actually pretty decent. I would say between those two weapons, it really depends how you want to play, because off-field you're getting additional energy, and when you have special attacks that hits enemies, you'll be increasing your physical damage. The downside is the increase of physical damage. If you don't care about dealing additional physical damage, or if you're not really worried about the physical damage buff, just using energy regen and also impact percentage can be good, but it's kind of missing half of the effect, because most stunners might not just deal physical damage. For Lycan, I'm doing ice damage, and also for other characters, we're doing elemental damage. Now in terms of the A rank supporting weapon, we still have the Battle Pass weapon on the top of the tier list. This is a very strong weapon with energy regen, and this also allows the entire party to have a critical chance increase. Now of course the 17.5% is at maximum level. I think at the base level it's around 10 or 12% was it? But this is still a very powerful weapon. You're getting free critical rate for the entire party. And when we make the Battle Pass selection, this will be on the top of our tier list for those weapons. Now in comparison, my next weapon recommendation for the supporting unit is this weapon I'm using on my Sokaku. So this weapon allows your entire party to have increased attack as you hit enemies. Very straightforward, stack up to 4 times, and the supporting unit also gains energy regen percentage increase, which is going to be very good. Now if you're running Sokaku, it is also optional to go with an ice supporting weapon. This is a situational elemental weapon, so only for the ice supporting characters that increase ice damage, together with casting your special effect ultimate will increase the team's damage for 12 seconds. Now this seems very good on paper, but in reality this weapon does not have energy increase, and this weapon also requires your supporting characters to kind of do some damage. Because you are sacrificing your energy to cast their special effect to gain some attack buff, it might seem a little, not worth it. You can be using this one on your stunning or maybe on your attackers to do even more raw damage. Now one of the best elemental supporting weapon for the other weapon is gonna be the Vault. Now why is this weapon lower on the tier list? Is that it's only one other character. Yes, it's an other support. Unless you're running the other support, which is Nicole, this weapon won't be that good. Once Julian's banner comes out and Nicole comes to the top of the tier list, then this weapon will become very powerful, because this will increase all the team's damage on the target by a percentage and also increase regeneration of energy. So this is a best in slot Nicole weapon, but for anybody else, it's not a great weapon. Now finally, we have the energy regen weapon with Slice of Time. This weapon does not have energy regen substat, so here we have energy regen, right? This one doesn't have energy regen substat, but this will increase the party's energy regeneration. So it's kind of awkward when the supporting unit should be getting more energy, while here you're trying to give more energy for the whole team. So this is why I have ranked this weapon a little lowly, just because of the penetration ratio. Who needs penetration for support, right? Now finally, coming over to the defensive weapons. This is the first time where the Battle Pass weapon is not on the top of my tier list. So here we have somewhat of a maybe potentially best in slot defensive weapon. The big cylinder allows you to reduce damage taken by a percentage. I think at rank 1 is about 7%. And then when you're getting hit, you'll reflect a massive amount of damage of your defense onto the target enemy. up to 960% at maximum rank. So this weapon I want to test on Ben, and I want to be stacking a lot of defensive items onto Ben to see if it can one-shot enemies. Now in comparison, the safer and also steady version of the Battle Pass weapon is going to be the Spring Embrace. This weapon allows you to have damage reduction together with increased energy rate regeneration that is transferable onto the next character you switch on. And this can be very good because any character, stunners, supporters, attackers, can enjoy the damage reduction and also energy regeneration. So this is a universal weapon. The only downside is this weapon has an attack percentage increase as a substat. Now finally, we have two mediocre defensive weapons with Bunny Brand and also original Transmorpher. One of these weapons gives defense percentage while increasing maximum HP, while the other weapon increases maximum HP and increases even more maximum HP. The rest of the stat is not that important. So in reality, we're really looking at this one and also this one for the best defensive weapons for Ben at the moment. Now I know this part was quite long, and for those of you who want to see those notes, these will be available in the links below. Now before I finish, I want to share something very important to you guys to teach you guys how to find and to see where you can get your weapons. So coming back to the Galaxy store, come over to the database and then you can filter by weapons. Now if you filter the A-rank weapons, you can see most of them are coming from the signal search. Now some of the A-rank weapons can also be purchased in the store. So here you can see this Strict Superstar is one of the weapons that can be purchased in the store. So what you want to do is, if you look at my tier list and if you find the A-rank weapon you like, then come over to the store here and start searching for those weapons. And if you see that you can exchange this weapon in the store, you can then come over here to purchase those weapons with the necessary materials. This can be very good if you're missing an A-rank weapon to get your character started. Now if you're missing any of the materials over here, make sure you click over here to see where you can be getting those items from. You can be going for the hunt, which will drop 3 of those shards. You can also salvage your existing engines of weapons that you don't need for those shards. And finally, getting those additional currencies by using energy can allow you to craft any of the weapons you wanted that's available in this category. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this guide video. It took me a long time to go through this one, and let me know in the comments guys, what are your favorite S-rank weapons and also A-rank weapons, and what is the best weapon you have so far for ZZZ.